everybody. So today is your fourth day of this project, third day working with clay. And so you're in the final stretch, believe it or not. This was pretty quick, right? So the first step that you need to do today is you need to open up your bag and take a look at your bowl and try to evaluate what stage is it in. I'm gonna open this up here and oh gosh, this feels great. This feels really leather hard, like it'll hold its shape really well. Now that it's leather hard, now that these feet are leather hard, I should say, I am going to finish my little wood cookie effect that I was going for. I was just looking to see if I had anything circular here that I could use. I really don't. So I'm just going to use a pencil or my paper clip, and I'm going to carve what I hope will look like rings on the inside of my wood cookie. So the bottoms of my feet aren't going to be so blah. You can see, I think, that the clay does have some moisture still in it, which is good, but it's leaving a lot of spurs, or what I like to call boogers. As I'm drawing into the clay, see all these little things here? Those are little spurs. But I'm not going to worry about that too much. I'll come back later and wipe those away when they're more dry, and then they'll just fall off. If I try to wipe them away now, they'll just stick to the clay, and I don't want them to stick to the clay. Okay, so there's the little concentric rings that are in my little wood cookie feet. Okay, so now this feels pretty leather hard. So now if I take my fingertips underneath here, it should just lift right off. Now, if yours doesn't just lift right off, or you lift it off and it feels like it's all like wobbly bobbly, put it back on there, walk away for 5 minutes, like go listen to your favorite song, and then come back and then try it again. Let the air just get to it and dry to it. But I think your mold, after having the clay be on the mold for 2 days, it should have dried things out to the point where everything should be pretty strong, pretty leather hard. So I am able to lift this off, and when I look at the inside, hallelujah, my texture from 2 days ago is still there. And I'm not surprised that it's still there. I didn't press so hard on my clay on my mold that it would have gotten mushed away, and yours won't have gotten mushed away either. Your texture would be there. So now, as long as I feel like my feet are pretty strong and leather hard, I can set it down on its actual feet. And I do want to check it right away and make sure that it's sitting level on those feet. I know that when I made these feet, I made one a little too tall. So I'm just going to press down just the slightest little amount on the side that I know was too tall so that it sits more level. And again, you can use your cell phone. I don't have my phone with me, but your cell phone actually has a level tool. I think it's in the, like where your compass is on your phone. It's that same thing. You can set your phone on there and see if your pot is actually sitting level. Although if your lip is uneven, that might mess with the look of whether your pot is level or not. And we're still going to do some stuff with the lip. So just kind of get down like at eye level and just look at it and see if it looks like it's sitting level on the table. Okay, so now that I have access to the inside, I get to add the same fun little details that I did on the outside. I'm going to add some fun little details on the inside too. And yesterday, I was really excited about the brackets. I thought the brackets looked really good. So I'm going to do some brackets. And I finally made slip yesterday. I am going to put some brackets kind of more on the sides of my bowl. I could do them certainly in the bottom there, but if I'm gonna at all want to eat out of this, and you'll be able to eat out of it, or maybe you'll have it more as a decorative bowl, that's fine too. But if you're gonna be at all using like a spoon or scooping out of this, you might not want to have anything that pops out in the very center. So I'm gonna put some little brackets and nails kind of in some other little spots. Maybe I will put some in the center, because if I don't have anything in the center, that might also look kind of weird. So I'm going to do a couple little nail heads in the center. I really liked how the the screws, like how that looked. I think I did one, where did I do one? Right here, where I made the little plus sign in the middle of it that would show that it was for a Phillips screwdriver. I really should have kept that Phillips screwdriver that I grabbed from my dad's tool room. But that's okay, I can just use my paper clip to make it look like screws. So right now my design is really heavy to one side, like with all the details I put on there. So I need something on this other side, and probably something over here too. So I made a couple really little brackets, and I'm just gonna make this look like a really old vintage piece of wood that somebody really had to just work really hard to get it to stay together. So I'm just gonna have fun with this. I'm gonna put a whole bunch of fun little details on there. So there's a little mini bracket. And then I even made a bracket that is kind of long, and I'm gonna have it fold up and over the top. So maybe that one can go over here. So by having a detail that goes from the inside to the outside, it causes a little bit more successful three-dimensional reality. It kind of leads your eye from inside to outside. It's called interior-exterior relationship. So anytime you can make the outside and the inside relate to each other, the more interesting it makes your pot. So I'm just going to do some slipping and scoring, and then this bracket is kind of dry because little things dry out so quick. But I'm just going to slip and score it right over the edge there. And it's cracking a little bit, but I forgot my sponge, unfortunately. I'm just going to put a little water on my finger and do a little bit of gentle smoothing, okay? So this is starting to be very asymmetrically balanced. So when you look at it, there's different things happening on different sides, but yet it seems visually interesting. It's visually balanced. It's not too much happening on one side or the other. And so that's a good sign that I'm kind of got a good asymmetrical balance going on. Now, speaking of the lip, there's a few things, once you've done all your interior details, there's a few things I want you to consider with the lip. So if you have these segments, these lines on the inside of your pot, you can let those little segments continue onto the rim. They probably won't line up with the segments you have on the outside of your pot, but that's okay. If your viewer can just see those lines kind of continuing over the rim, it'll just kind of help with that illusion of three-dimensionality, that trompe-l'oeil effect. So I'm just going to continue with my ruler, those little lines from the inside of my pot, and just kind of curl them over the lip. I'm also going to take my texture tool, the same one that I used for the inside and the outside, and I'm just going to do a little gentle rolling around that lip as well. Now, because this is I'm doing a wood bowl, I could also cut segments of my lip away so it kind of looks like the wood is maybe sort of broken around the edges. If you're doing a fabric bowl, you could do some little stitches along this lip. You could do something similar, maybe not little X stitches, but you could poke a hole here and a hole here, and then do a little stitch between the two holes, and then do another hole, and do another stitch. That could be kind of cool. So be creative with that lip as well. Figure out what you can do to make that lip really fit with your overall aesthetic. So if I'm going to cut segments of my lip away, let's see what's going to be my best tool for that. I don't really have a great tool for it, to be honest. Maybe I'll take my paper clip and I'll kind of cut down to one of my segments and then cut up. So it looks like there's a little chip in the wood where two of the segments come together. And if you do that in a reasonably balanced way, it won't look strange. So I'm going to do one over here. You're going to come back, and one of the things you'll do tomorrow is you'll do some softening and not smoothing per se, because we don't want to get rid of your cool textures, obviously. but we will soften things. Similar to how I had you soften things for your curry gnocchi cup. If you did the wabi-sabi kind of crazy cut technique, you didn't want to smooth those away. You just wanted to soften them. Okay, so now I have 3 little cuts in my lip. You should know that in art, odd numbers are always better than even numbers. Odd numbers have more harmony to them and more balance to them. And so it's not a hard rule that things always should come in odd numbers, but it's part of the reason why we have 3 feet. I just did 3 cuts and I'm going to leave it at that. So it's really, you know, it's kind of up to you. You need to trust your gut. If you've done, you know, 5 nails or 7 rivets or whatever, and you feel like it still is needing something more, you can do things in even numbers too. It doesn't have to be odd numbers, but just a little trick that artists use. Usually we work in odd numbers. It just is more artistically harmonious. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the balance of this. I'm happy with the details. The texture looks good. My segments look good. My lip looks reasonably good for, you know, for it being a beat up wood looking bowl. There's still things I need to clean up, but this is as far as I'm going to go for today. I want to let it firm up even a little bit more before I start to add some water to smooth things. So I am going to bag it. Oh, actually, first of all, don't forget about this. Snap a picture. I'd like you to do a picture from above this time, so I can see everything you did on the inside and I can see what you did to the lip for today. And then bag it up tight. You can let your bag, like, maybe allow a little bit of air in there, but definitely don't puff it up a lot. We don't want it to dry all the way, but it would be okay if it got a little bit more to the dry side of Leather Heart for tonight. And that is as far as you're going to go for today. We're going to do finishing touches tomorrow, and then we'll go from there. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck.